Good evening, everyone. 20 years ago, the tri-state was rocked when the torso of a body washed up on the shores of the Miami River.
Now, the family of the woman killed and cut into pieces tells 9 on Your Side's I-Team that they're trying to keep the man responsible behind bars.
And that was the last place that she was. And I just go out there and talk to her and think about her.
As Carla Edwards sits and stares out over the great Miami River, the whitecaps, kicked up by the strong winds, serve as a symbol of the rough journey these past 20 years.
As the years go by, the more you realize she only existed for a little while. You're not going to see her again.
She's talking about her sister, Cheryl Durkin, whose torso washed ashore in 1998. She was killed by James Lawson in this house on Garfield Street in Middletown, dragged downstairs and then stuffed through this hole into the basement below. 9 on Your Side reporter Lynn Giroux covered the murder and the trial.
They say it was here in the basement of the house where Lawson used a saw to cut up Cheryl Durkin's body. He then painted the floor and walls with this gray paint in an attempt to cover up the crime.
Freshly painted. It's the best part of the house. It's clean, and you're like, well, we know what happened here because the floors, walls, everything was painted.
Anthony Dwyer was the lead detective on the case.
This could have easily turned into a cold case.
Yeah, we had some good breaks. We were very fortunate.
Fortunate because Lawson's sister Melissa, who helped his mother dispose of Cheryl's body parts in separate graves, fessed up, giving up the location of the remains.
Her head was in a cooler, the rest of her in trash bags. And thanks to Melissa, she took the officers to location.
Gary Caudill is one of Cheryl's brothers.
You guys are having to relive everything because he has a parole board hearing coming up.
Yes. Ever since I found out, I can't get it off my mind.
James Lawson.
James Lawson was sentenced in 1999, living here at the Allen Correctional Institution in Lima, Ohio. Lawson replied to my letter asking if he had any regrets from his past and whether he was a changed person.
Mr. McKee, I just wanted to thank you for reaching out in response.
In his 2-page response, Lawson says that he is, quote, greatly changed and committed to making a difference if given the opportunity of freedom. He also says, I first and foremost, with the utmost remorse, apologize for the act which cost the life of Cheryl Durkin.
When you first served the search warrant, when knocked on the door, he was like, I don't even know her.
Correct.
To the point now where he, in a letter to me, is apologizing, and he says I should have just called the police.
Right. That's, what his version is now. There's been a lot of versions, so I don't know what the current version is. But yeah, no matter what happened, if you just call then, and then, okay, you've made a mistake, you've panicked, you've done something.
One thing that is certain, Carla Edwards,
A lot of the people that signed the petition remember when it happened.
is using the power of social media to retell Cheryl's story and try and gain support through this online petition to keep James Lawson behind bars as he prepares to go in front of a parole board in June.
I do not want this to happen to anyone else.
Lawson insists if he's released, he wants to mentor and counsel at-risk youth to help stop violence, saying he's now an ordained minister with the internet-based Universal Life Church. And with his letter, Lawson sent a stack of certificates from training and self-help programs, efforts that Carla doesn't think will make a difference.
I do believe if Lawson gets out, I believe he will kill again.
He has nothing to contribute to society.
Gary is physically shaken by the mere discussion of the possibility of Lawson's parole and doesn't believe he's yet paid his debt for taking Cheryl's life.
What if they grant him freedom?
Cheryl's got 7 brothers. That's about all I can say.
I will appeal it.
For Carla, it's now her life's mission to ensure Lawson stays at the Allen Correctional Institution. Meanwhile, her visits to the river's edge will continue.
Just sit there and think about Cheryl.
And while she has faith in the judicial system to do the right thing, she believes her faith in a higher power will also be a driving force.
And if it wasn't for God placing her torso up on the riverbank, we would have never known what happened to her.
Aside from Carla's petition in support of keeping James Lawson behind bars, Lawson's daughter has also created an online petition to gain support for his release. You'll find links to both of the petitions and additional video for this story on WCPO.com.